One of the most successful NHRA drag races of 2025 is off the schedule for 2026. My, oh my, what a crazy time in drag racing. What a crazy time in motorsports. Hello, everybody. We got a lot to talk about. It is your boy Racing Jack over here. Thank you guys so much for watching my coverage from the PRI show a couple days ago. And man, the news just keeps on coming. Let me bring you up to speed real quick. If you missed my last video, I know about 70,000 of you watched it, so thanks for that. IHRA made a ton of announcements at the PRI show. So did NHRA, which is great for the sport. There was a lot of excitement. Well, then there was an announcement at the IHRA booth that they were teasing for Friday, 4:30 p.m. And I, myself, about fell over because I didn't see this one coming. And I like to pride myself as a guy who somewhat has the pulse of this industry. And here's some things. I didn't hear anything about IHRA acquiring Maple Grove Raceway. Now, why is this such a huge deal? Remember, one of NHRA's most successful events takes place in Reading, Pennsylvania. It's the first race of the countdown. Maple Grove has so much rich history. It was built in the 60s. It is a legendary track. And as I told you earlier this year, one of the many reasons that it has such a strong fan turnout is we no longer have Englishtown in the New York market. We no longer have ADCO over in New Jersey. So all these Philadelphia people, all these New York people, and Pennsylvania people come out in masses to watch the racing there. Well, let me get right to it. When I posted that this was the beginning of a serious battle, dare I say, a war, shots fired, and some of you in the comments said, hey, listen, no, it's okay. NHRA is still going to host their national event. These two are going to work together. Guys, that sounds great on paper, and trust me, for the good of the sport, I love what you're saying, but we have decades and decades of history that tell us that's not going to happen. And if you don't believe me, what happened today that you can read about here on cycledrag.com. It's been a busy day posting press releases. NHRA has quickly responded by taking Maple Grove off the schedule and replacing it by once IHRA facility, once WDRA facility, US 131 Motorsports Park in Martin, Michigan. Now, first off, very happy for Jason Peterson, the owner of that great facility. That track is awesome. We've been there many times for the Bellman Shootout, the two-stroke races that you've watched here on Cycle Drag. So I'm very happy for them. That is a deserving facility. Now, let's dig in, though, to what was revealed here. For those of you who thought that NHRA and IHRA were just going to play nice all of a sudden, you got to study the history of this rivalry, and it is a rivalry. So I got two reasons. There's multiple reasons why NHRA would never be able to host a race at a non-NHRA track, and we've got decades and decades of precedent that that's not going to happen. But the number one reason that I told you right away in the comments is rivalry and competition. Guys, Coke doesn't rent out the Pepsi truck. Walmart's not going to have a sidewalk sale at Target. It just doesn't work that way. It sounds good on paper, and a lot of you, us, the racers, the fans, are saying work together, work together. There's a lot to consider here, and you got to remember when this much money is at stake, and for NHRA, their goal is to hit about $100 million in gross revenue every single year. They're not going to prop up a competitor. And I know this is the new IHRA with Daryl Cuttle, but let's study history, guys. How was the IHRA born? A guy named Larry Carrier, way back in 1970, who was with Bristol Dragway, decided, you know what? We don't like this organization coming in, pushing us around. We're the track. We're bigger than the organization. The organization says, no, we're bigger than the track. All of a sudden, the IHRA is born. It's been an age-old battle in motorsports. If you're any of my MX friends watching, you know that right now there's a very publicized battle in that world as well between two juggernauts, two great companies, MX Sports, Glen Helen Raceway. They just can't come to terms on a national event. And right now you've got a situation where NHRA, could you imagine this? Could you imagine NHRA showing up with the Fox Sports 1 broadcast that they pay a lot of money for, publicizing a track that now belongs to a competitor with IHRA signage and logos all over the place? That's simply not going to happen, guys. Look at what has happened to the NHRA, the new NHRA facilities that are going to host national events. Maryland International Raceway, long-time IHRA, WDRA track. They had to switch over to an NHRA member track, and so did US 131. That's the way it's going to work. That's the only way it's going to work. These two are still bitter rivals, and it has been a one-sided rivalry. I liken it to, if you're a sports fan, think Yankees-Red Sox before 2000, where the Yankees won everything. I'm a football guy, so Steelers-Browns for all those years. I think Ben Roethlisberger beat the Browns just about every single time, but guess what? All of a sudden, Browns got Baker Mayfield, beat the Steelers in a playoff game. Big Papi and Martinez comes to Boston. All of a sudden, watch out for the Red Sox. So this, even though this has been a one-sided rivalry, NHRA fully understands what's going on here, and they're not going to be able to host an event at a rival organization. And that's exactly what it is. Let me talk about another reason. Like I said, there's multiple reasons, but here's another one that nobody's talking about, and it is insurance. Here's what you got to realize. When you run one of these big national events, the insurance you need is massive. NHRA gets a group discount, a group rate, because of their network of member tracks. NHRA can't stick their neck out and be on somebody else's insurance. My goodness, that would take probably enough papers and legal documents to fill up this room, because here's where I really feel for the NHRA and I feel for the IHRA. Let's face it, guys, we live in a litigious society where people are looking to sue constantly. NHRA has had to pay out a lot of money on a lot of different situations in motorsports where what happens? Somebody goes to the track and gets hurt, a racer gets hurt. They want to sue the organization. So right now, NHRA is poised and focused to protect themselves from that. So they're not going to be able to go to a track that isn't an NHRA member track and host a national event. A couple other things that were revealed here that I want to talk about, though. For those of you that don't think that there's still a rivalry, I want to give you some insight. I was with a version of IHRA about 8 years ago. I ran the International Drag Bike League, and at that point, the parent company was IRGSE. Now, this company was a fraction of what Daryl Cuddle's got right now with the budget that he's thrown around, but even in that form of IHRA, when racers tried to show up advertising the World Series of Drag Racing at Cordova or had IRGSE or IHRA signage prominently displayed on their car, NHRA told them to take it off. That was 8 years ago with a much smaller version of the IHRA. So I ask you again, do you think NHRA will break precedent here and throw everything out the window and just all of a sudden decide, let's host an event at our competitors' track? So things are getting very interesting here. Another thing that I would like to bring up is that which track is next? That's what I ask you. IHRA clearly has a plan here, and I think it runs a lot deeper than we know. Now, again, I want to go on the record by saying some of you have accused me of being very critical of the NHRA. I love the NHRA. I love John Force. I love Don Garlitz. I love Dave Schultz. I love the history of this organization. What I have said is I don't like the way that it's run. I feel like it's become a bit of a monopoly over the last few decades, and because of that, NHRA has been able to pretty much do whatever they want. So here's another big story that is coming out of this, and that is, I've told you about the souring relationship between top racers and NHRA brass. Well, now, multiple sources also telling me there's a souring relationship between track owners and NHRA. I'm hearing multiple track owners very displeased with their national event agreement, saying that they can't make money. It's a highway robbery. Some of them actually saying it's one of the worst business deals they have ever signed. Well, NHRA is the only national event game in town, so they say, hey, you want us to bring top fuel superstars? You want us to bring Tony Stewart, Coletta, Force, all these great teams? This is the national event agreement that you have to sign. So let's take the 10,000 feet away view if you don't believe me, all right? Kenny Koretsky, awesome man, owner of Nitro Fish for many years, just sold Maple Grove. If I haven't spoken to Kenny Koretsky, so this is all speculation, but let's take a look at this from 10,000 feet away. If Kenny Koretsky knows his track is on the 2026 NHRA schedule, And all of a sudden, this track is abruptly sold to IHRA. What does that tell you about the relationship between NHRA and its track owners? Doesn't speak too highly of it. So what I think here, the good that can come of this is this could force positive change at NHRA, is what I think. I think right now, if you're at an NHRA office in California or Indianapolis, you might be checking in with your member tracks right now saying, hey guys, how's everything going? How's everything looking? Because you got a man in Daryl Cuddle with a big budget looking to buy a lot of racetracks. And I don't think NHRA has ever faced competition like this, at least in my lifetime. This is unbelievable. Now, here's where I think this can be very good for the sport, the racer, the fan, the consumer, in any form of entertainment, in any form of business, in sports, in racing. Competition brings out the best in us. And as I told you, I love NHRA. I've been to so many NHRA Nationals and covered so many NHRA National events, I can't even tell you how many. I do feel like they've become fat cats a little bit, meaning that they've kind of run this monopoly and bullied some people. I mean, come on, when Kenny Koretsky sells his track, what's that tell you, NHRA? And I think this could force positive change. I think in this era, this could cause the NHRA to, again, rethink who their customer really is. And maybe this 100 million gross number that, to me, from the outside, that seems to be NHRA's #1 goal every single year. And if you watch my video about the cancellation of the finals, this all falls right in line with that. If you work at NHRA, if you are an executive, if you're on the board and you're making north of $1 million, if you're a high-ranking executive making north of 500,000, you don't want to be the person responsible for gross revenue all of a sudden sinking from 100 million to 80 million. So when decisions like canceling the finals happen, you have to realize the financial implications there and why that happens, even if it's not what's best for the sport. And that's just one small example, but I think things are getting very interesting. Like I said, very happy for US 131 to get a national event. What's the future of Maple Grove? That's the question. Kind of feel bad for those fans that, does IHRA have something up their sleeve? Can they bring that caliber of show to Maple Grove Raceway? If you read on cycledrag.com, like I said, you can read all the press releases. Lee Martin, congratulations to her, first female president of the IHRA. She said that, I think I have the quote. Let me actually read the quote for you. That this is what Lee Martin, president of the IHRA, said. She said, I personally reached out to NHRA leadership because I believe collaboration matters. I was disappointed by their decision. Our focus remains on the future. When organizations are willing to collaborate around a common goal, the entire sport is elevated. That willingness to lead, to work together, and to put the sport first is what separates true leadership from the rest. IHRA remains committed to supporting racers in every region of the country and strengthening the communities that host our events. So thank you, Lee. But listen, guys, I'm here to call it like I see it, and I am unbiased. Some of you thought I was getting paid from IHRA. That is the furthest thing from the truth. I am not getting paid from the IHRA. I have many questions about the IHRA. I'm rooting for both organizations. But let me tell you this. From a guy in PR, a guy in journalism, this is pretty spin by Lee. They have to know the history here. They had to understand that NHRA in no way, shape, or form was going to go along with this. So I commend, if I'm working PR at IHRA, I would tell Lee Martin to say just this. Of course you've extended that olive branch to NHRA. You don't want to be the bad guy in this situation, but there was a reason you bought the track. This is getting good, guys. We got much more to come. I want to know your thoughts down below. I think the way the racer wins here is that IHRA needs to be around for a while. And that is my biggest worry, my biggest concern. Hope to talk to Daryl Cuddle more about this vision. I'm worried that they're expanding too fast. I don't like seeing them getting them in all these different disciplines, stock car racing, snowmobile racing. It's just so much. Pro polling. I'm rooting for them, but I know how much it's going to take to make drag racing work, especially on this level. I have questions about Maple Grove. Are we going to continue to operate that facility as a weekly bracket program? The biggest thing for IHRA is show me how you're going to make money. If it can make money, if it can break even, it'll be around. If it's just a massive tax write-off, we've seen this before in motorsports. We saw the late, great, God rest his soul, Forrest Lucas, spend a ton of money advertising his products and operating Lucas Oil short course, Lucas Oil drag boats. At the end of the day, how sustainable is any of that? NHRA, they've proven they can make it 75 years. They're very, very sustainable. They're profitable, maybe a little too profitable. Maybe that's where we have the great compromise. So, like I said, I love it. I'm rooting for the sport, rooting for both organizations. One other thing I need to tell you too, that I've talked to some of these track owners. One problem that they're having with the NHRA is settlement has been very, very difficult. What is settlement? When I come in as a drag bike organization, as NHRA, and I rent your track, we have an agreement on paper. We then, a lot of times for drag bike racers, it would happen on Sunday night when I was with ProStar and Scooter Kaiser. A lot of times back in the day, NHRA national events settlement would happen on Monday. That means you sit down with the track owner and you talk about all the unforeseen things that happened and you close this deal. Your guy wrecked his pit bike into my fence. We need this paid for. You guys went over your quota on toilet paper. This charge is something that we incurred. This is something that we weren't expecting. All that gets settled. Back in the day, that used to happen relatively quickly. I'm hearing from some tracks, settlement with NHRA over minor things. One track reporting over 270 days. Now remember, we're in the digital age, so NHRA comes in holding all the money. That's going to create a little bit of resentment from these track owners. They want to close these deals and they want fair deals where they can all prosper and make money. So very interesting times. Very interesting times. We got much more coming on this. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. But I leave you with this, guys. Daryl Cuttle and his IHRA team, they're not done shopping. Not by a long shot. He just shocked the world with Maple Grove. Which track is next? Which track is next? What are they looking at? There's all these rumors, but boy, they did a good job keeping Maple Grove quiet. And I did a little work today because I heard a lot of rumors about Summit Motorsports Park. Bill Bader Jr., awesome guy. I really appreciate his correspondence. He gave me this quote. I told him straight up. I said, Bill, is there any truth to the fact that IHRA is shopping Summit Motorsports Park? We know it's one of the nicest tracks in the country. It's in Ohio. Why wouldn't they? Bill Bader said, quote, I have never spoken to or met Daryl Cuttle in my life, and no one has made me an offer. So right now, that's where it stands with Summit Motorsports Park. But again, a wild and interesting time. And hey, what about TV package too? That would be the next thing. I've talked to some of the top racers. If Daryl Cuttle can get a TV package, and I think he can, because I can tell you as a TV guy, he's already got Steve Grind, Ralph Shaheen, and all those guys producing a good show. Now it's just a matter of approaching a network and getting it shopped to a network. Once you have a show on a network, all of a sudden, there's a lot of NHRA racers that can come over and give their sponsors ROI and exposure at the IHRA. Boy, exciting times. Like I said, exciting times, and no matter what side of this rivalry you stand on, or if you're square in the middle like me, rooting for the sport, let's hope the fans, the racers, and the sport comes out ahead, because it is interesting times indeed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments down below, subscribe, and again, which track is next? You know there's one coming next. You know we're going to be doing a video soon about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you. Subscribe right in the middle. You know if there's anything racing, Racing Jack has got your back. Catch up on all the press releases on CycleDrag.com. See you later.